Good afternoon, students, and I hope that you are all utilizing this time productively to in your studies and to pursue your other hobbies as well. Because remember, later, sooner or later, things will be back to normal, and then I don't want you all to look back at this time with guilt that you could have done this or you could have utilized your time more productively. Now is the time, so utilize it productively and so that it makes sense to you. Follow your hobbies, follow your heart, but still there is plenty of time. So please go ahead and utilize some productive, get creative. Don't forget to catch up with your studies because that is important. Now, today uh, we are going to do a small skip lesson on resolution. Now, a resolution is passed by the company or by the members of a company, and in that resolution, it can be best summed up as when any suggestion is adopted by the members, the common decision is recorded as resolution and action is taken accordingly. So it's just not recorded and left, whatever decision is taken as a resolution, but it is recorded and action has to be taken. That's what makes it a full resolution. A resolution, it may be ordinary or special. There are mainly two types. There are other types as well, but mainly two types. Ordinary resolutions require a simple majority support in terms of the members or in terms of votes of the members. So all those who are present and voting, a simple majority will do. But a special resolution requires a 3/4 majority vote of all the members present and voting. Now, there may be 50 members, but the 3/4 of the figure is not of 50 members, but it is of the members who are present and voting. So that is the difference. How many people are present? 3/4 majority has to vote for that resolution if it's a special resolution. So resolutions are passed unanimously or by a vote. In case of voting, democracy comes true even in companies, in boards. So there is a voting right. Voting right is given to all the members. And in case of voting, it may be carried out either by show of hands, just like in class, we raise our hands. So show of hands, or by a secret ballot, as may be deemed fit by the chairman of the organization who's conducting the meeting. So that's how a special resolution is passed. Now, coming to a format or what all are the components of a resolution. A resolution has a heading indicating what it is about. That is of paramount importance. What is the resolution about? That should be comprised in the heading, and the resolution may be about appointment of a secretary, that has to be mentioned, or it may be endorsing of checks, or it may be called for signature on negotiable instruments, that is any negotiable instruments which you might have heard of, checks or any payments which have to be made to external parties, vendors, that has to be ratified by the board before the payment is actually made. So such resolutions are passed and then the payments are made. Now we look into the specimen of a resolution, and as you can see, the specimens of a resolution, I'm also writing a link, that is https://blog ipleaders.in/board-resolution-sample/. So this is the link in which you can access specimens of various types of resolutions, which will actually give you an example of the language used in the resolution and also the many specimens that you might come across. So let's first look at a specimen which has a board resolution for appointment of an internal auditor, which is a very important post, an internal auditor. Now we'll go through the verbiage or the language that is usually used to write a resolution. And I'll just read it out to you so that you can have a complete idea of what it is. For example, the heading is mentioned here, as you can see. That's the heading. And after the heading, you have the verbiage or the language, which begins, certified true copy of the resolution passed at the meeting of the board of directors of, the name of the company will be here, that's why it says company name, held at the registered office of the company at the address of where the meeting was held, and most important, date and the time. That has to be mentioned. So these are important records of a resolution, which actually are necessary to make it a resolution, because this is the format of date, time, venue, and the name of the company, and most importantly, what is the resolution about, what is the heading of the resolution. So board resolution of appointment of internal auditor is the heading of this particular one. Now the language after that begins like, resolve that the pursuant of the provision of section 138, that is the relevant to the section of the Company Law Board, and of any other applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and the rules made thereupon, and with the consent of the board, and is hereby accorded the appointment of Messrs. So and so, the name of the organization of which the chartered accountant is appointed, his registration number, that also needs to be mentioned, and an internal auditor of the company for the financial year. The year has to be mentioned, that the appointment is taking place for which year. These are the particulars which need to be mentioned, otherwise the resolution will be null and void. And the remuneration too must be mentioned, as may be mutually agreed upon between the internal auditor and the board of directors. See, the next paragraph again takes it to, resolved that the draft engagement letter is placed before the board, specifying the scope, functioning and methodology, and the remuneration, etc. All the details are mentioned here for conducting this exercise, and is formulated in consultation with the audit committee. And then you have, the language says that further, or resolved further, that the purpose of giving effect to the resolution, Mr. So-and-so, XYZ, whatever his name is, whoever is the director of the company, and is hereby authorized on behalf of the company to do all the acts, deeds, matters and things you deem necessary, proper and desirable, and to sign and execute all necessary documents, applications and returns for the purpose of giving effect to the aforesaid resolution. Now this is authorizing the director of the company in front of all the board members. The director has been authorized to carry out the appointment of the chartered accountant with full knowledge of the board members. And of course this is a certified copy, for the name of the company must come here, it should come here, and the director, address, the city and the state. These are all the particular things that need to be mentioned. So this is what a resolution looks like, the one that you've just I've just taken you through. And besides, there may be some other thing. If you refer to your book, then there is a appointment of solicitors is mentioned. It was resolved that the Messrs. Udvalia Brananika and merchant solicitors and so on. Then there's also the language used by appointment of auditors, appointment of bankers, and signature of negotiable instruments. So these are all the topics that are mentioned that are usually used, the language that is usually used while we frame a resolution. So I request you to go through that book and also to go through all the various appendices that are mentioned over there, like books and stationery. How would you actually appoint a sales agent for a particular territory, and so on. So this is rather useful, and it gives you a very good idea of what the language and what the legal compliance requirements are for framing a resolution. So I thank you all, and stay safe and be happy. Bye bye.